So I'm going to do a quick video that just shows the workspace that I use here. I don't have anything fancy, but this is kind of a system that's worked great for me. The first thing I have is just this big plastic sink. It has been very helpful to have one with a little side sprayer just to get down and help clean out my rocks. You'll want a big colander just to help catch and keep all the little rocks in, and then help you clean all the grit out. You can see it kind of makes a mess in the sink, but it's a big no-no to let these go down into your sewer. So before anyone freaks out watching this, I just use this sink with a 5-gallon bucket to catch everything, and then it catches the grit, everything else, and then I can dispose of that properly. I usually just put it out in the dirt on the side of my shop where I don't want weeds to grow, and it's worked great. Over here, I have some Harbor Freight tumblers. I have a set of Nat Geo tumblers that I've reviewed, and then my Raytech vibratory tumbler. This is a bench grinder I use. I just have one normal wheel that I use to sharpen my chisels that I use to break up rocks and to break rocks out when we go rock hounding. And then I bought a diamond wheel. This is a 6-inch bench grinder. Diamond wheel that I use sometimes if there's big holes or breaks. I'll use them to shape the rock a little bit to help stage 1 go a little quicker. Anytime you use this, it makes a mess and it can be dangerous to breathe, so you definitely want to get a good respirator, a real respirator for masonry. It helps a lot. Let's see, I have oil. You always want to keep the tumblers oiled. And then this is my set of different grits that I use. I've tried a bunch of different things. All of my grits now either come from Kingsley North or the Rock Shed. The stuff my Nat Geo tumblers came with, I've pretty much all used up. I did try some of the Amazon polyplastic stuff, and I have no issues with it. The grit has worked great. Everything they give you works great, but their polish is only a 1200 aluminum oxide. I like to go with the higher end. I think they say it's like an 8000 grit is the Rock Shed's polish. So this works great. I'll use it as a pre-polish on softer stones like obsidian. I'll run a 1000 stage, and this works the same as 1000 aluminum oxide. So it's not like it's a waste. It just doesn't. Everything else on it is good except for the polish. And some people don't like to. Their step 3 is 500 silicon carbide instead of 500 aluminum oxide. I will say aluminum oxide seems to be a lot better to polish, but 500 silicon carbide has worked great for me on harder stones like agates and jaspers. I haven't noticed a difference. Now, softer stones like calcite, I have definitely noticed using the 500 aluminum oxide is better. But if you have some of this, it's still worth using. In general, I don't notice a big difference. I've got different sizes here of ceramic media. I use these in stages 2, 3, and 4. You can see there's a few different sizes here, and I will just keep using them until they're gone. And then I have new kinds down there that I will use when I need, when these wear down. If you are using new ceramic media, make sure to start it in step 2. If you try and put new into polish, it can scratch the rocks just because there's sharp edges still. If you start in stage 2, you'll be great, and then you can just use it forever after that. This is a really thick old restaurant cutting board I use to smash pieces off of rocks or to smash big rocks. So this is a set of Utah Wonderstone rock. I would use that board with a chisel to cut this up into smaller pieces, smash them into smaller pieces. I guess I don't cut them, and then they can go into the tumbler that way. And let's see here, I have a few different options that I will use for that. These I use when we're out rock hounding. They're actual masonry chisels. They work fantastic. And then I just bought a cheap set from Harbor Freight just of their punch kits. Comes with like 12 punches for really cheap, and then I just keep sharpening these on my bench grinder. Dish soap I use to help with my vibratory tumbler. It helps clean out so you can get the grit off really easily. Let's see, I've got some corn cob media here. That's used for fluorite, polishing fluorite. These are my sorted rocks that are ready to go into the tumbler. So these would be what are going into stage 1. I kind of sort them by hardness and type. Something I do different than most people. I don't like to do a full batch of the exact same type of rock. And so these are all agates and jaspers from the same area. So I know that they'll still polish good together. So that would be one batch I would do. Just for an example, this is a batch of softer stuff. As you can see, some of it's partially tumbled already. These are all just things that still need to be in stage 1. I've got some lapis, some opals, some sodalite. I just keep them all. Every one of these is just a different type of rock. I just keep them all organized this way. And each week when I change my tumblers, I have them already sorted. I can keep adding to them as I need until I have enough to move on to stage 2. I always keep on hand a little box of scraps. These are just little tiny pieces that I'll throw into stage 1 to help grind down. They just help the grit. And sometimes you get some cool little jewelry pieces out of them that you don't expect. But I don't care about matching the hardness of these because I'm not hoping any of them really turn out. They're just used in stage 1 to help fill in and grind down the bigger rocks. One thing that saved a lot of time is I bought these stainless steel spoons from Amazon, and each one is just labeled with a certain kind of grit that I use it for, and then I don't ever have to worry about cleaning them every time. It just saves me a lot of time. Really easy. I always keep a collection of spray bottles on hand. I use them to add water to my vibratory tumbler, and then when we're out rock hounding, it's great to bring these to get the rocks wet, to know what you're looking at. It makes it easier to see kind of what the finished product might be. But yeah, it's not a big space. It's worked for us. We've got our system down to where I'm pretty much getting great results with everything I try. Thanks. Here's our terrible loud noise with everything running. Vibratory is by far the loudest, but it's in my garage in a little shop, and we don't hear it in the house.